next week on Bullseye. Remember, you can't beat a bit of bully. Bye. Bye.
Whether on duty or off, Sharkwatch is a simple yet very effective security measure when out in a group. So take turns to stay off the booze and keep those eyes and ears open. Speak to your unit security officer for further advice.
This is SSVC Television, and with the latest weekend news from ITN, in just under an hour from now, we take our regular Sunday evening pilgrimage to Albert Square.
Hello. Now, before we go any further, I think I should just tell you that I've applied to become a nun. And they've accepted me, and they're sending somebody to collect me in 10 minutes in an Austin Montego. I just have to take a change of underwear, some tea bags and a billiard table. They dare a bloke from Surrey called Murray to phone the police and order a curry. He gets locked up, it's a bit of a worry, but they won't have to see him again. They're dressed to kill and looking fantastic. Tracy's gone for rubber and plastic. Nicholas dresses a piece of elastic. It's under a heck of a strain. Now, I didn't know about these. These are kits that tell you when it's a good time to try and have a baby. They tell you when there's an egg on the way. There's one coming down now. Get going. Because it's quite crucial, this egg business, apparently, because you only get one egg a month. You know, like the war.
And even though Victoria Wood may have sold out her performance, we've a spare ticket left for you later this evening. And as you can see, there's a lot more comedy in store tonight. And the first of those programmes, Forever Green, is after the news from ITN, with Sue Carpenter.
The news from ITN.
3-year-old's battered body found in undergrowth. Police in Coventry are questioning 2 youths following the discovery of Carl Kennedy's body in the Willenhall area of the city. He'd been brutally beaten about the head, possibly with an axe.
Faced with an apparently motiveless killing, police today interviewed residents in Willenhall to try and establish Carl's last movements. His body was found last night in dense undergrowth several hundred yards from his home by a police dog handler. He'd been repeatedly beaten around the head with a sharp-edged instrument, possibly an axe. Carl had last been seen yesterday lunchtime at this children's playground. He'd been with his 14-year-old brother, who later reported Carl missing when he failed to return home. Police have described the attack as savage.
It's a horrific attack on a young child. I don't know, one ceases to sort of think of words to say for the different things that keep on happening all the time to try and describe attacks like this.
The little boy was well known on the estate, and neighbours say it was quite normal for him to play alone.
When I'd realised that he was found dead, it was such a shock. I felt sick.
Tonight, police are still looking for the murder weapon. They say they're following up several leads and are questioning a number of youths in connection with the murder. In the meantime, they've warned parents not to let their children play alone. Anya Sitharam, ITN, Coventry.
Serb-dominated federal army troops have started pulling out of their barracks in the Bosnian capital Sarajevo. Previous attempts were blocked by Croat and Muslim forces. In Lisbon, the American Secretary of State James Baker has called for mandatory United Nations sanctions against Serbia. He said other countries should stop looking for reasons not to take action. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Dr. George KERRY, says he thinks the ordination of women should not prevent eventual unity between the Anglican and Roman Catholic churches. Dr. KERRY's in Rome, where he's due to meet the Pope tomorrow. His visit comes just a week after he urged the Roman Catholic Church to relax its opposition to birth control.
400 years of separation can't be healed overnight, but we are working jolly hard together at overcoming some of these more difficult and contentious areas.
The leader of Thailand's parliament has called for urgent amendments to the country's constitution to ensure that all future prime ministers are democratically elected. Earlier, General Suchinda Kraprayun announced on national television that he was stepping down.
It had been designated an unofficial day of mourning for those killed in the protests, but it will be remembered as the day when Thailand's most hated prime minister finally resigned from office, forced out by the sheer weight of public disapproval. Crowds at the Democracy Monument listened to a makeshift public address system to hear the historic broadcast. On state television, Prime Minister Suchinda said he'd submitted his resignation to the king. He said he regretted the bloodshed, but had signed an amnesty absolving the soldiers who'd fired on protesters. There were sporadic outbursts of rejoicing on the streets, but for the most part, the response to the news was muted. Anger and distress that he should leave the country unpunished overcame the relief that he'd resigned.
We don't want him out, but we want to kill him here, you know?
He can't leave any place in this world because all Thais who are abroad will kill him.
In spite of public anger, it's understood that Suchinda agreed to go only on the understanding that he would never stand trial in Thailand.
Today, the main demand of the protesters was met, but it's not considered a cause for celebration here. Only now can the country give itself over to grief for those who died and the demand for retribution for those who killed them. Caroline Kerr, ITN, Bangkok.
Here, peace campaigners have staged a protest at plans to unveil a statue of Sir Arthur Bomber Harris, the head of Bomber Command in the Second World War. About 150 protesters marched to the RAF church in central London, where the Queen Mother will unveil the statue next weekend. They put up a wooden white dove on the site, dedicated to the victims of the bombing. And those are the headlines. Our main news this evening is at 9:45. Join me then if you can.
Hello again. Rather like yesterday evening, much of British Forces Germany seeing a fine end to the day. A lot of sunshine around. One or two thundery showers about though, particularly in the south and to the west, running across the Rhine up towards Luxembourg and Belgium. And overnight I think we're going to find those thunderstorms gradually dying away. Once again it's going to be another fine clear night. Temperatures probably getting no lower than about 13 or 14 Celsius. Starting off tomorrow, sunshine just about everywhere. A lovely start to the day, but once again rather like today. I think we're going to see quite a bit of cloud beginning to develop in the south and west mainly, and then during the afternoon that cloud building enough to give some thundery showers. They'll come a little bit further northwards and eastwards than they've been today, probably getting no further across than the Isselmere though. As far as temperatures are concerned, well, 29 the high tomorrow, and the best of the sunshine once again to the north and east up towards Berlin. The winds perhaps a little bit stronger than they have been today, blowing generally from a southeasterly direction. Looking down across Gibraltar, then down into Spain, southern Spain, mostly clear skies tonight.